Next up, we have the Media and Information Center of New Angeles. It's NBN, the corporation that relies on tags to fulfill its win condition. Here, we have an attrition deck, which means that it wears down and grinds the runner out as the game progresses due to the nasty assets and upgrades that are well defended by its identity ability in this deck. Depending on how the runner plays, indeed, this corp has the potential to react and respond appropriately, and as mentioned, fulfill its win condition. If the runner plays aggressively by trashing assets, they will probably take some tags, which opens up vulnerabilities for the runner to your tag punishment. The tag punishment available in this deck is something we'll discuss a little later on. Passive runners, on the other hand, that allow you to get your assets going will find it very difficult later on to win the game because they concede the economic advantage by giving you your campaigns and your commercial bankers group two very powerful asset economy cards that can open up the opportunity for a seesaws to land, which can be then followed up by tag punishment as well. So the strengths of this deck, as mentioned, the assets are nasty, so the runners have to be selective about trashing them. They can't trash them all. Otherwise, they will end up floating tags due to your identity ability, which is bad news bears. You also have a very resilient agenda suite. If you look at the agendas on the screen, you have Global Food Initiative, which is worth 1 fuel point to the runner, as well as Quantum Predictive Model, which is something that the runner may grasp at, but will end up going to you if they end up tagged. This is another important reason why the runner cannot be tagged against you, because they will end up turning their agendas into yours, as doing your dirty work. So these are the very big upsides to playing this corp. Unfortunately, you do suffer from having fewer ice than the other sparring decks, which means that you might not be able to defend your centrals, your HQ and R&D early on. You also don't have many ways to punish early central pressure, so that is a weakness that the runner may look to exploit. Not to mention that your agendas are mostly blank when you score them. If you notice these agendas again, they don't actually do anything when you score them, meaning that when you score these agendas, they're just tempo hits. You're losing clicks and credits to gain agenda points, but are not getting any beneficial in-game effects in return. So this might be a downside to balance out the fact that these agendas are so resilient. Right, so let's talk about tag punishment. The main way you can punish your opponent with tags is by using exchange of information. There's also another card in the deck called Psychographics, but I'll leave you to figure that out. For exchange of information, the really cool thing you can do about this is if you have a 1-point agenda in your score area and the runner has a big agenda in their score area, something like a Global Food Initiative, you can play this card to swap the two agendas. So initially, as you can see here, the corp has 1 agenda point and the runner has 2. Don't forget that Global Food is only worth 2 points in the runner score area. When exchange is played, these agendas swap and suddenly you are now up 3 agenda points to your opponent's 1. This is quite amazing. With one single operation that you play, you perform a net swing of 3 agenda points in your favor. This is a big deal, and this is one of the main ways in which you can turn the tides in your favor, making it easier for you to win and simultaneously harder for the runner to reach the 7 points. An interesting line of play you can make with this deck, even though this deck doesn't have any ambushes, you can still perform some mind games, some bluffs if you get creative. One of the most obvious ways to accomplish this is to advance your agendas behind a Data Raven and ideally some more ice. But Data Raven's the main thing you need because it forces the runner to access your advanced card while tagged. So what could this card be? It could be an agenda. If they run it and they try to steal the agenda, what if it turns out to be a quantum predictive model? Suddenly this agenda is now yours, the corpse. The runner spends so much effort, time, resources, credits to get into the server, only to do your dirty work. But they can't ignore this agenda either, because what if it turns out to be a Global Food instead? Yes, then they are conceding 3 valuable agenda points to you, giving you a very big head start into winning the game, if not winning the game outright. So the runner is put into a very difficult bind when you perform such a maneuver against them, and it's a very good way to sneak those agendas out and force a very difficult choice on the runner.